I think Meghan sees enemies everywhere, as he did too.
My father was ultimately responsible for both me and my brother, our partners, and our families. It did seem a little bit strange.
Prince Harry's image in the eye of the public has changed drastically over the years. He was once the cheeky royal rebel who wasn't afraid to bend the rules. He was the beloved son of Princess Diana that brought warmth and relatability into a stiff monarchy. But somewhere along the way, that narrative began to change. He went from being comfortable wearing his pain with honesty to somehow being accused of weaponizing it. Tom Bower shared some insights into his recent memoir, Spare, and what he revealed was shocking. What did he reveal? Let's dive into the details. Tom Bower's revelation. For some time now, Prince Harry has lost face with the public. His words appear to have resulted in divided opinions. He has always been someone who was comfortable sharing everything about his life with the public. Prince Harry was never the regular royalty. Over the years, his Netflix deals, his tell-all interviews, his accusations of racism in the monarchy have led to heated debate across social media. But nothing about his life was as controversial as his memoir, Spare. He spoke about everything concerning his life in that memoir. So many controversies were reignited, starting from his time in military service to how he chose to raise his family outside of their royal heritage.
That we can never have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
However, one seemingly small issue raised the greatest controversy in the memoir. It wasn't even about the royal rift growing within him and the rest of his royal family. People have shared conflicting opinions about it since the release of the memoir. Tim Bower has now shared a new perspective on the matter that changes everything we knew. It is worse than you could have imagined. When it comes to Prince Harry, few critics have been as relentless as Tom Bower. He is a royal biographer and commentator with a reputation for pulling no punches. For decades, he has built his career on dissecting public figures, laying bare their flaws, and exposing what he considers inconvenient truths. When Tom Bower speaks, his words often sting, and when it comes to Prince Harry, the sting is particularly severe. He gave an interview with the GB News and he didn't mince words. He said if he had to sum up Prince Harry in one word, it would be dishonest. Then he went on to dissect various aspects of the prince's life. From his memoir to his interviews and his various streaming projects, Tom Bower claimed they are riddled with contradictions. Prince Harry is always painting himself as a victim, yet cashes in on the very system he claims destroyed him. He commented on how Prince Harry speaks of family loyalty, yet spares no detail when accusing his father, brother, or stepmother of cruelty and neglect. From what he said, it wasn't difficult to see Prince Harry as a man chasing validation through self-promotion, rather than a man in search of healing. The list of grievances Tom Bower made was long. He went for his memoir first. Prince Harry accused his brother, Prince William, of physical aggression during a heated argument while speaking disparagingly about his wife, Kate. He then questioned his father's fitness as king and referred to Camilla as dangerous, willing to sacrifice others for favorable press. By the time Tom Bower was done with his analysis, it was simply as though Prince Harry had written the book purely to shade his family. Each revelation widened the chasm inside the royal family. Next, he went for some of the interviews Prince Harry has had in recent times, his sit-down with Oprah Winfrey on her show, the Netflix series, and even his Apple project. He carefully pointed out a recurring narrative that was difficult to deny.
Most likely, in fact I know, to keep us under the roof.
Prince Harry was repeatedly inferring that Britain is racist and the monarchy is indifferent, and he, Prince Harry, is the brave whistleblower pulling back the curtain. But it doesn't stop there. In Tom Bower's eyes, Prince Harry's biggest fault is his cake and eat-it mentality. He has chosen to live in California, raising his children in Montecito, surrounded by celebrity neighbors and Hollywood executives. Yet, time and again, he would fly back to Britain, seeking relevance and positioning himself at the heart of royal events. On one hand, he tells the world he has cut ties with the firm, as he refers to the royalty. Then, on the other, he seeks reconciliation with his father, stages charity appearances in the UK, and makes sure photographers are there to capture the moment. That is not the action of a man severing ties. Instead, he is cunningly attempting to profit from both worlds. He wants the privileges of royal status without the duties, the sympathy of the public without the accountability, and the platform of a global icon without the responsibility that comes with it. Apart from being an hypocritical thing to do, this kind of contradiction is dangerous for the monarchy itself. At this time, when the royal family is facing one of its most fragile moments in decades, Prince Harry's behavior can quickly get destabilizing. King Charles is grappling with illness. Princess Kate is quietly battling her own health struggles. Prince William, already burdened with preparing for the throne, must now shoulder additional pressure from public scrutiny and family division. In such a precarious time, Prince Harry's actions are like salt on a wound, rather than helping to heal it. There's another person in the picture that makes the story even more controversial: Prince Harry's wife, Meghan. Together, Harry and Meghan have been accused of doing more damage to the royal family in 4 years than anyone else has done in centuries. Tom Bower's point of view paints them as a duo.
Meghan is an agent of poison. She is a person who has absolutely remorseless.
United in grievance, determined to chip away at the credibility of the crown while simultaneously building their own empire of media deals, book contracts, and global appearances. To him, their mission is less about truth and more about vengeance, less about reform and more about profit. But the question still remains as to whether Tom Bower is right. Well, one has to look at these scenarios Tom Bower has analyzed. Details from Prince Harry's life. When Prince Harry released his memoir Spare in early 2023, the headlines almost wrote themselves. It wasn't just another royal book, it was a tell-it-all book that seemed to leave no stone unturned, no memory too private, and no family moment too sacred to share. And among all the explosive details, one story stood out that many argue that it was too personal to be shared. It was the now infamous Elizabeth Arden cream story. Prince Harry recalled suffering frostbite during a trip to the North Pole. A friend suggested using Elizabeth Arden cream, the same one his mother Diana had used on her lips. The moment he opened the tube, he said the scent transported him back in time, making him feel as though his mother was with him. But then came the shocking detail. He applied the cream not to his lips, but to his most intimate region. It was a moment of vulnerability so unexpected, so startling, that it became the subject of endless late-night jokes and even awkward breakfast conversations across Britain. But the Elizabeth Arden passage was only one of many bombshells. It gets even more interesting. There was a part of the book where Prince Harry recounted a physical confrontation with his brother Prince William, who allegedly shoved him to the ground during an argument about Meghan. In another portion, he described Princess Kate as cold and unsympathetic. He even accused his father, King Charles, of neglect and painted Camilla as scheming, willing to sacrifice others for good press. Each revelation landed like a grenade in the carefully constructed image of the royal family, and each one added fuel to the media firestorm that followed. The public reaction was swift and divided. Some readers applauded Harry's honesty, praising him for breaking the silence on what life inside the palace was really like. For them, this was the voice of a man finally unburdening himself from years of trauma, grief, and silence. Others, however, were far less forgiving. To them, Harry had crossed the line from vulnerability into oversharing, transforming deeply personal experiences into fodder for global consumption. That question of oversharing sits at the heart of the debate around Spare. On one hand, Prince Harry's raw honesty can be seen as an attempt to reclaim his narrative.
Kate and William are now against the Sussexes, me and my wife. They always pitched us against each other. They pitched Kate and Meghan against each other.
By writing so candidly, perhaps he was trying to wrest control of his story from a press that had never given him peace. On the other hand, the decision to publish such intimate details about drugs, family fights, and private conversations can appear as self-inflicted wounds. Instead of protecting his privacy, he was putting his most private moments under the global microscope. Some believe it is unresolved trauma from losing his mother at just 12 years old and having to grow up under the relentless glare of the media that is responsible for his actions. This could also be why he went to serve in the army while feeling like an outsider at home. Nevertheless, all of these experiences shaped him. When he was later asked by The Guardian if he regretted writing the book, Prince Harry's answer was simple. He had no regrets. Not about the Elizabeth Arden anecdote, not about the claims against his brother, not about accusing his family of complicity with a hostile press. His conscience, he said, was clear. That's not all. The word spare has haunted Prince Harry his entire life. It was the unspoken label given to him from the day he was born. He was basically the backup plan in case something ever happened to the future king. But Tom Bauer pushes this idea further, suggesting that Prince Harry may have simply swapped one version of the spare role for another. In his telling, Prince Harry is now Meghan's spare, or perhaps Meghan is his. Prince Harry raged against being the spare in the royal family for so long, but now he has somehow tied his identity to Meghan's ambitions. Everything they do, whether in interviews, Netflix documentaries, or business ventures, often appears built around Meghan's narrative first, with Harry playing a supporting role. On the flip side, critics note that Meghan's public presence has also been tied to Harry's royal status. Without him, she would not have had the global platform she now commands.
Meghan encouraged the ventures. Meghan encouraged the anger and the hatred and seeing enemies and paranoia.
In this sense, each has become the other's spare. But this mutual dependence hasn't always paid off. Meghan's post-royal career has faced setbacks. Her Spotify deal was abruptly cancelled, and other media projects failed to gain traction. For Prince Harry, life after the palace has been equally disorienting. True, his memoir Spare sold millions of copies, but it cemented his image as a man trapped by past wounds, rather than someone charting a bold new future. This uncertainty spills over into how the public perceives them. After the bombshell Oprah interview and the record-breaking Netflix series, their influence seemed undeniable. They were cultural disruptors, voices of rebellion against an outdated institution. But that momentum has dimmed. Polls in both the UK and the US suggest waning popularity. Media outlets now treat them less as trailblazers and more as cautionary figures, like people who once commanded the spotlight but can't quite control it anymore. However, there's a silver lining. Not everyone sees Prince Harry as the villain in this saga. Nigel Nelson, a veteran political editor and commentator, offers a more measured view. While acknowledging Harry's flaws, his occasional bitterness, his missteps in the press, Nelson argues that the prince deserves more credit than he often receives. In his opinion, Prince Harry is not a reckless man out to get his family. Instead, he sees him as a man struggling to reconcile personal pain with public expectation. Where critics like Tom Bauer see hypocrisy, Nelson sees humanity. True, Prince Harry may be outspoken, even provocative, but he has also shown moments of deep conviction and genuine service. His creation of the Invictus Games remains one of the clearest examples. This international sporting event for wounded veterans has not only changed lives, but also demonstrated Harry's ability to channel personal experience, like his time in the military service, into something meaningful and lasting. To dismiss Prince Harry entirely would be to overlook the good he has already accomplished. Nelson also reminds audiences of a critical truth that the royals did not choose the circumstances of their birth. Unlike politicians or celebrities who actively pursue fame, members of the monarchy are born into a contract with the public. Every smile, every stumble, every misstep is magnified. Prince Harry, like Prince William and Princess Kate, was thrust into this life without consent. The constant tension between public duty and private freedom is not easily reconciled. For Prince Harry, this tension was compounded by the trauma of losing his mother at such a young age. In this light, his retreat from royal life can be seen less as betrayal and more as self-preservation. At the heart of Nelson's counterpoint is the belief that Prince Harry is still searching for purpose, and all these missteps are just challenges along that path. So far, the Invictus represents his most authentic step. Critics may call it opportunism, arguing that Prince Harry leverages the games to polish his image. But Nelson suggests that the sincerity of Harry's commitment outweighs the optics. The veterans who benefit from Invictus consistently speak of the event's transformative impact, and that cannot be easily dismissed as branding. Looking ahead, the stakes remain high. The Invictus Games in Birmingham in 2027 will test whether Prince Harry can sustain a legacy of service without alienating the institutions he still depends on. Meanwhile, the monarchy faces its own uncertainties. There's King Charles's failing health, Princess Kate's ongoing recovery, and Prince William's preparation for kingship. Against this backdrop, the question of reconciliation looms. But many people feel it is very unlikely Prince Harry will ever bridge the divide with his family, with this much damage already been done. Ultimately, Harry forces us to confront what the modern monarchy should be, whether a relic of tradition or an institution capable of change through uncomfortable truths. What do you think of Tom Bowers calling out Prince Harry on what he termed cake and eat it mentality? Do you think Prince Harry is actually trying to play both sides, or he is actually genuine? We would love you to share your opinion in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.